Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you all how I do my special events foundation routine. So I'm going to be taking pictures, if it's a wedding, if it's just something really like big that I like my face to look a lot better than it usually does. This is the look I do. Also, there's a lot of highlighting and contouring and all that fun stuff. So if you guys want to see all that, just keep on watching. So also I have dry shampoo in my hair because this is second day hair. I'm just going to go ahead and start off with a primer. This is the Maybelline Baby Skin, and I like this because it's really good at hiding my pores. I have fairly large pores, like around my cheeks and my nose, so I like this because it helps my face look a little bit more flawless. So the next thing is I'm taking this foundation right here, which is Revlon Color Stay. This is in the shade 180 Sand Beige, and I love this foundation. This is one of my favorite foundations from the drugstore. I have a little spatula that helps me take it out, you know, because it doesn't have a pump. And then I'm just going to go ahead and place it on my cheeks, on my forehead, on my chin, a little tiny bit on the sides of my face. And then whatever's left, I just like to put on my nose. And then I'm just going to take this brush right here, which I had never applied makeup with a brush or foundation with a brush. I've always been like the beauty blender. This one's dirty, but like a beauty blender or using my fingers. So I've been liking using this brush. This is the BH Cosmetics 116 brush. And I'm just going to go ahead and just blend everything in. That's that for foundation, and it might look a little bit light, but it does tend to oxidize on me, and it'll eventually end up looking pretty perfect to my color of hair, my color of skin. And then I like to take a foundation that is a lot darker than my skin. This is the CoverGirl Outlast Stay Fabulous in the color 865 Tawny. I love this trick because if you have a really light foundation, one, it'll make your foundation look like it matches, and two, it's really good for contouring and all that fun stuff. I'm going to take the BH Cosmetics 115 brush, and this is just like a tapered brush that I like to use for my contour. So I'm just going to slightly squeeze this, and you can see that there's barely any product coming out. I'll just take that little bead on the end of my brush, and then I'll just find the hollows of my cheeks, which is about here. Do that line there, and then just like to blend it out, and then I'll just kind of take it up along the side of my face. And we've just created this shadow that kind of helps define my face and make it look a little bit less round. And then I'm just going to take a little bit more, and I'm just going to bring it up here and just blend that out like that, and then just work it into the hairline. If it is a little too dark, I'll just take that same foundation brush I was using and just kind of help lighten that up. And then you can also go along your jawline. But I find that if I do that, it'll make it look like my foundation doesn't match. So I usually don't do that. And then I'm just going to go ahead and repeat the same steps on the other side of my face. Just like that. And again, if there's any harsh areas, I'll just use my foundation brush just to kind of blend that out a little. Make it a little bit more subtle. And I make my contour a little bit harsher because once I put powders over it, it tends to get a little bit more subtle. But then I do go in with a bronzer and bronze that up. This is another BH Cosmetics brush. Doesn't have a number, but it's just kind of rounded on the top like that. And I'm going to go ahead and take some more foundation on this brush, tiny bit, and then go ahead and then you kind of have to make sure you bring it up to underneath your brow, just because it kind of looks a little bit more natural that way. I'm just going to go ahead and bring it under here, under the nose. You can see how much more rounded my nose is going to look in a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and bring this side. Go ahead and take this up again under the brow and just kind of bring it here and then fan it down a little bit. So then I'm just going to go ahead and blend this out with this contour brush. Like I said, this is definitely not like my everyday makeup because this would take forever to do. But for special events, this is definitely, it's not too hard. And so I'm just going to kind of put this here. I'm going to just create a little bit of a shadow here. Just so that my nose looks a little bit more like buttoned up. And then just fan out that line right there. And our nose is now done. Under the lip is where I like to contour as well. And I'm just taking a tiny bit of foundation. Then I like to kind of fan it out into this triangle. It just creates even more depth under the lip. I'm just going to go ahead and blend it again. And the last place I like to kind of add a little bit of contour is right on my chin, because it does do like this little indentation right there. So I like to take some right here and right here and just kind of make it look a little bit more chiseled. So it kind of just depends how crazy I'm feeling on concealer. If I want to be really crazy, I'll get a really light concealer. So lately I've been using this one. It's between like the almost no highlight to the very the super dramatic one. This is like my in-between. So this is the Revlon Photo Ready Concealer in the color Light number 2. So again, if you want something a little bit like lighter and brighter, you can definitely go with like the number 1 or the color before this one. So I'm just going to go ahead and highlight my nose and then under the eyes. I just like to make a triangle and then just kind of fan this out. And then the higher you take it, the higher, the more lifted your eye is going to look. So I like to take it pretty far up to the hairline and then the other side. And then I like to do the top of the chin. Some people don't like to do that. I like to do the top of the lip. Also keep into consideration if you're going to overdraw your lips, to go a little bit higher. And then I like to do a little bit on the forehead. And then I just take again my foundation brush, just go ahead and blend all this out. And then I don't like to do right here because there's like a very slight bump. So I like to skip over the bump and just kind of go down to the bottom half. Because again, I'm not trying to like make this bump kind of stand out. And then I'm also gonna do the under eye. It might still look a little funky, but this is like when it all comes together, is when you set everything with the powder. So first I like to set my under eyes with a powder. I'm just using the NYX HD Studio Photogenic Finishing Powder, and mainly because this is a loose powder. So if you're having trouble with your under eyes creasing, I love to do this. Pack on the powder there and then just lightly lay the brush wherever I'm trying to lay the powder on. I'm just looking up, and then there'll be a little bit of an excess of powder on here. That's okay, because we're just going to let it settle. Absorb any of the oils. It's just going to absorb anything down there that's going to make it crease. So again, I'm just going to let that set. And then next I just like to take my lighter powder. I like to start with that first. So I'm just taking my lighter powder, which is just a translucent pressed powder. And I'm just going to go ahead and hit all the high points of my face, anywhere I put highlight. So up here on the chin, on the forehead, and then a little bit on the nose. And then I like to hit under here as well. And right above my lip. And then I like to go ahead and take the same brush that I used and just dust off any of the extra powder that we have left under the eyes. I'm gonna go in with my bronzer. This is the ColourPop Super Shock Cheek in the color Paradise Cove. And I just like to go ahead and just go over the contour that we previously put. I like to go under here with a little bronzer. And then for under the lip, I like to go with more of a shadowy color. So I take the NYX, or not the NYX, from my Naked palette, I take the color tease, and I just pop that in right under here. Since we've applied so much like different foundations and there's layers and we put some powder over top, I'm just going to be applying the NYX Matte Finish Long Lasting Setting Spray. And I like the matte one because, again, I'm trying to avoid shininess because I do have naturally oily skin. And I'm just going to spray it. I don't think there's any more. Just let that set. I lost my earring. Special events foundation routine. Yeah. 8, 5, 8. Like that. Okay, actually I might use this one. This one looks like fun. Just like that.